everybody, and welcome to this tutorial in which I will show you how to turn this into this. Let's get started. So I have three simple chords and I'm going to make them from very simple to advanced and take you through that process and see what we can make out of this. So my chords are E flat, A flat, and B flat. Let's strip it down even further. E flat would be like this, E flat, G, and B flat. A flat would be like this, A flat, I play the same in my right hand, C, E flat, and B flat is B flat, D, and F. A simple way to play this would be to play the root position triad in your right hand and the root bass in your left hand, something like this. No real rhythm added, no real fanciness added, and very simple chords. So let's see how we can make that more complicated. First of all, by using some inversions, for instance. So when I play an E flat like this, I can also play the E flat over there, and I could play so what I did now was E flat like that, A flat in the same root position as just now, B flat, instead of like this, I inverted it down, played like that, and then back to the E flat. Let's say that I can add more notes from these chords to this voicing that I choose for every one of them, and let's do something called octaves in the bass for the first chord, which goes like this. Three chords where the first and last chord have a little extra body because there are more notes in the voicing. We can even expound upon this further by adding an extra note in our right hand here and there. Or doing that every now and then. Right, so now I play an inversion for E flat, just a regular A flat, an inversion for B flat more or less, or a 4-note voicing, and then again this inversion with the octaves in the bass. Note that I am now mixing concepts on the different chords, and I still don't really have a whole lot of rhythm going on, right? So let's see if we can add some rhythm to that and play quite simply just playing every chord twice. That was already pretty interesting as an extra thing. Yes, we're building it up every step of the way, so please try to follow along. Now I did two chords. Or did I do something different? Anyway, the approach that I took was to not play all the notes of the chord on the first beat and then play the others. You see that? So that's still the exact same two accents. Let's see if we can make it even more interesting by shifting where the chords fall. So let's say that I play now, instead of, I would play it twice as fast, so that it goes like this. So now each chord has 4 accents, whilst the song speed hasn't really changed, right? And let's say if instead of playing every chord 4 times, I now play a chord in front of the beat, as it's called. So that sounds like this. Right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my last 4th beat of the previous chord has now already changed to an A flat. That's what we call playing in front of the beat. It's kind of drawing the chord back one. And you see that all of a sudden it gets a whole lot of feel. Let's say if we strip again away all those accents, then we get to something like this. Right now, I'm not playing all the chords 4 times, so to speak, or 3 and 4, or I mean 3 and 5, but I leave certain beats open. Let's see if we can add some color to the chords before we add more complicated rhythms. So color tones can be, for instance, what I did now was play a sus4 and add it to that pattern. Now let's say that I want to do even more. And by the way, for the next chord, I played just the regular one, and then a major 7. So that's a major 7. And then I did a normal chord again, I think, to the 1. Let's say I want to add even more flavor and make the chords a little bit more dreamy. So then we can do something like this. Now I've added a major 7 to the E flat chord, so where it was first just E flat, now I added a major 7 and even a 9. And I did the same thing to the A flat. Okay, let's go even further from this. So instead of just going straight from the E flat to the A flat, I'm gonna play an extra note in my left hand that leads up to that A flat. As you see, it's just one of the chord notes, so it will sound something like this. I will leave out the major 7 again and dress it up with a 2 now, by the way. So again, I'm just gonna, sprinkle in different kinds of concepts. So here we go. Okay, so now I did add a 9 over there as well. And then instead of going immediately to the B flat, I stayed on the A flat a little bit and have that just as a lead up to the E flat again. So again, it sounds like this. Let's keep it simpler. See now that if I do that major 7 over there and I keep it over there when I play this, then it actually becomes a G minor chord. So we've added an extra chord, but you see how closely related it is to the E flat, right? Especially when we add a major 7, and then when we add a 9 as well and we get to that G, then it's not just G but G minor 7, which is very nice, I think. So we get now you see that as opposed to those playing all of them together, I start playing certain notes from the chord and others I don't. Also, I add in a new beat to play accents on, which isn't just right as we did, but ta 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 ta, even twice as fast as that to do. Right. So now let's see if we can take this even one step further. For instance, by not playing the entire chord over here, but thinking still from that entire chord, and these notes are all optional. Now let's add a little upbeat to get to some melodic, fills here and there. For instance, something like this. Okay. Now we've stranded quite far from where we started. What is this? A little to fill out the chord, right? So actually I've stripped it down all the way from E flat major 7, E flat major 9, and then we can dress it up all the way. But I can also fill out the chord like this and just strip it down to the root and the third, for instance, on the first beat. And now I have an E flat add 9 again with that, you know, little fill out over there. And then I do what previously has been a G minor 7. It has been an E flat over G, right? And now I add this 9 over here, which is, I believe, a really nice voicing over there with this quarter stack over there, to land on A flat major 9. And then I make a, so that would be a little bass lick, if you will, played over the F minor pentatonic scale to get to the F, which is the next chord. Make that a minor 7, or maybe I even added the 11. I even don't recall what I just did just now, but both works fine. And then to a B flat sus chord over there, which is very juicy, and then land on the E flat major 9 again. Now what I've done is take it even further away from home, because now I went from this E flat, add a little fill to get to that E flat, then as we've discussed, that E to a major 9, even 13, then F minor 7, 11, O to a B flat, or just go straight up from that A flat to that B flat again. I mean, these are substitutes, so we can do it. We don't need to do it. I think I also did not do it just now. To a C minor 7, C minor 7, is now a substitute for that E flat over there. So we're not quite going home, right? This is called a deceptive cadence. So we go from, instead of home, we now go, and we don't quite finish the round. So now this is our new first chord, as opposed to that E flat. And we can go again to that via that G minor, optionally to the A flat, but I can also immediately go to the F minor, as I just did now. So kind of swap that out for each other as well, right, to get more color. And then to a B flat and land on the E flat again, right? So this is now fairly straightforward, but you see, as soon as you start moving around a little bit, that it gets pretty sophisticated. Now I did go to the A flat. I could have gone there as well. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. We're trying to make it more and more complicated. So what I did, just to summarize everything from the very start, we started with triads, then we started inverting, we started expounding on the voicing by adding more notes, then we added some color to the chords. Then I started, we also added rhythm and patterns, and then instead of just going right, each chord equally long, we played one chord before the beat over there, and then at the end again, which made it a whole lot more engaging in terms of rhythm. Then we added an extra chord in there as an upbeat, right? And then we started breaking up the chords as well. So as opposed to just playing all the chords notes simultaneously, some notes on the one accent and then others on the others. And then in totality, we started even breaking up all of those extended notes as well, and started as a very last step. So like that resulted into, right, that is essentially just breaking up this heavily extended E flat chord over there, right? E flat major 13. And then we also swapped out some chords for possible other chords. So this E flat can be swapped out for this C, which this is 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, and then we add a 6 chord. And if you go from the 5 to the 6 as opposed to from the 5 to the 1, called a deceptive cadence, because this feels home, right? And this feels not quite home yet, right? We're kind of taking a detour, so we want to continue on. So then our second round started with this swapped out chord, and then we even dressed that up further. Etc. So you see that from a fairly basic progression, we made something quite extensive and quite advanced. Now, this is obviously flying through all of these steps. If this is at all interesting to you, then my course, the Chord Piano Blueprint, or my book, Hack the Piano, for a little bit more of the beginner stuff, goes over these exact same concepts, building up chords in complexity, both in terms of voicing, as well as in terms of adding techniques and rhythms to them, so that you can go from simple to advanced, not just on E flat, A flat, B flat, but on any chord progression. Meaning that if you have a song that is your favorite song, you take its chord progression, apply these techniques, and then you can get from very simple, which might be a very good way to start playing the song if you're not yet super advanced, you can still play it, right, in a simplified version, and gradually building it up to more advanced as you go, and then getting to closer to the original, or just building your complete own rendition. Obviously, this was just a made-up chord progression, although there are tons of songs that actually use this chord progression, obviously. But you can do this with any chord progression, so if you're interested in that, then do check out the links in the description box below this video. For now, this was it. Hope there were some useful nuggets in here for you, and hope to see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.